Hi, and welcome to Business Advisory and Tax Tips. I'm Michelle Burke, coming to you live from Annapolis, Maryland. Many of you know, after 30 years in the corporate tax world, I went out on my own and created health and taxes. There are only two things certain in life, death and taxes. I'm here to help you flip that to health and less taxes. On Wednesdays, I bring you business advice or tax tips. And today I have a very special guest, Scott Grotjan. So welcome, Scott.
Hey, thanks, Michelle. Grateful to be here with you and your audience today, and looking forward to our time together.
Thank you. In addition to that, I also have Jason Carter, who with Veracity Advisors. And Jason, tell us a little bit about yourself and how we team.
Michelle, thanks for having me on again. It's great to be here for another great webinar. So just let the audience know that Michelle and I have been working together for about the past 4 or 5 months, right in that time frame. But Veracity Advisors works with, and let me back up, we coach and partner with motivated CPAs who are looking to get out of the rat race, looking for ways to expand their business, become more valuable to their clientele. We do it through a collaborative process that we offer in-house at our firm. And we've partnered with folks like Scott and others around the country to really bring forth, the best way to put it is a virtual family office environment that is now available to small business owners and to regular private clients through the CPAs that we work with. So we felt it was very important on our end to build a business model that was going to be well-rounded, but we wanted to make sure that we were working hand in hand with CPAs in partnership to do a few things to close the communication gap that exists within our business between professionals. It'd always be nice to have a singular voice that we can talk to the client through. And that's what I think we're trying to accomplish with our partnership with you all, Michelle, and the folks like Scott and the specialists we work with to really create that one model where the client can not only have a great experience, hopefully it's nothing like he or she have ever been through before, but we want a process-driven approach where value is something of utmost interest. And really, we're set up, our whole motto is client first, client always. And we're really striving to put the client in a better situation tomorrow than they're in today.
Yeah, thank you, Jason, for that. I really do enjoy teaming with you and your team of specialists. It helps me add value to my clients above and beyond just the transactional things that we're doing day to day, really helping my clients expand and look at areas that they might not otherwise get an opportunity to do. So with that, we're going to really focus on expense reduction. And Scott Grotjan is the expert in expense reduction. So if you're looking to increase your profits, before you sell your company, even better. But let me tell you a little bit about Scott. Scott is the president and CEO of Silverback. Scott provides a wide range of cost reduction and profit improvement solutions, including extensive experience with multi-location entities, diverse corporate cultures, and implementation of cost reduction recommendations. No worries.
My apologies.
While Scott serves a wide variety of industries, his most notable industries include healthcare, manufacturing, distribution, and logistics. However, he can service any industry. He has 24 years of industry experience, including roles in finance, operations, sales, procurement, and human resources. Scott's experience brings proven methodology and effective strategies to major areas such as strategic resourcing, process optimization, M&A integration, and change management. So today we're going to focus on cost reduction. So with that, thanks so much, Scott, for being here. Let's jump right in. Could you tell us a little bit more about Silverback and also about what exactly is expense reduction?
Yeah, thanks again, Michelle. I appreciate that introduction. So expense reduction, again, I'm with Silverback. Expense reduction it goes by several different names. Maybe expense reduction, you might have heard it as cost remediation or profit improvement. The bottom line in all of that is we help organizations save money and have more profit or resources to go to whatever they desire to do. All of the work that we do, Michelle, is on a contingency of the savings. So if we can't save them any money, there's absolutely no fee. So it's a low risk, high reward opportunity.
Yeah, with that, you've got to ask yourself, why wouldn't you at least take a look if there's no cost to you? So I like that contingency basis. So Scott, tell us a little bit about who benefits. Who is kind of who should be considering this and taking a look at doing cost remediation or expense reduction?
Yeah, Michelle, I believe our work applies in every industry, in every business. Geography doesn't matter. Generally speaking, our clients are, multiple locations, larger organizations. In primarily, we do work in every industry, but we have more clients in manufacturing and healthcare and distribution. But we certainly have car dealerships as clients and school districts and all that. So it works in every industry. I think people that people that value abundance are great prospects for our work. We can help them save money and give them more money to do with as they wish.
I know this last year has been a challenge for a lot of businesses. So I know more so than normal, a lot of businesses are looking at cost reduction as a way to improve profitability. So tell us a little bit about your team and the process to get started.
Yeah, Michelle, we use industry experts. So by and large, the people that are actually doing the works, I don't really, you gave me a lot of credit that I don't deserve. It really goes to our team earlier. We use industry experts. They come from the industry. They understand how the product is priced. And that's what allows us to do the work that we do and provide fantastic results to our clients. You had asked about the process. The process is pretty simple. Together with the prospective client, we choose categories to look at. It has to make sense from a spend standpoint, but we choose categories. And then from there, we collect invoices as the starting document or data source. And we benchmark what they're currently buying, what it's costing them, those sort of things. And then we build them a strategy to get that same item, sometimes a better item at a reduced cost.
And Scott, one of the things we were talking about before is that often clients are a little concerned about upsetting vendor relationships. And I know that often you not only continue the existing vendor relationship, but you also improve that. Can you give like an example of that?
Yeah, Michelle, thanks. About 70% of the time, our clients stay with the same vendor before and after we get involved. They just generally write a smaller check. We understand that vendor relationships are critical to a business and continuity there. And we come in and our goal is to add value both to our client and also to the vendor and not to triangulate that relationship. Again, our goal is to make sure that vendor relationship is intact. Ideally, we leave it better than we found it as we move forward.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, and I think that probably distinguishes you from other vendors out there that are selling kind of the expense reduction. And I also think that something that distinguishes you is that you're using on your team these experts who have worked in these fields. They really know very quickly if something's too high or too low, or does it make sense, or do we need to dig in further? So why don't you, can you give us an example, maybe take utilities or trash or one of those, maybe give us an example, and so our listeners can understand how it all works.
Yeah, we recently, Michelle, we did a hospital and we were engaged to look at their electricity. The electricity bill was a little over $40,000 a month, so it was a large spend in their organization. The interesting thing about utilities, and depending upon the state, sometimes they're regulated and sometimes they're not. Whether they're regulated or not has no impact on whether there's savings opportunities. But we took this hospital, we do tariff modeling on all the tariffs. They were in a regulated state, so they don't have free market choice. And our experts were able to save them a little over 16% a month on their electricity bill. And they were simply on the wrong tariff. The utility vendor has multiple tariffs that applied to our client. We did modeling and we moved them to a tariff that was more favorable for them. It was actually, there was a lot of work on our part, but from the client standpoint, they literally signed a new form with the vendor moving tariffs, and they're saving money.
I think that's fantastic. And it's something that being both a client myself sometimes, and then it's like I just accept what the utility is. It wouldn't even come to mind that I could question my utility bill and that there might be some savings there. And so I think that's a really great example. And I think you have other examples with trash or waste. Tell us another example like that.
Yeah, Michelle, this is one of my favorite trash stories. And at full disclosure, the result that I'm going to share with you is not typical. It's like that weight loss commercial where they lost a lot of weight. This is not the typical results, but this is recent experience that we have with a client. So the client is a manufacturer. Their annual trash spend was about $65,000 a year. They got about $13,000 in rebates from materials that they were recycling from their process. So their net out of pocket every year was $52,000. When we got done, we made a ton of changes. And when we got done, they actually have about $5,000 in income from their trash every year. So not only did we take it from an expense of $52,000, now they actually have $5,000 in income. There's a ton of stuff they were putting in the waste stream that we pulled out. Some of it we're selling. Some of it we found people that would come and pick it up for free. And anytime we can do that, keep it out of the landfill, keep it out of that piece and recycle it, everyone wins. And oh, by the way, we saved them a fair amount of money in that.
Yeah, that's a really good story, because even that client can go out and say how they're being more green now, and they're helping the environment as well. And that is an amazing story. And that is the person who ate the Subway sandwich for 30 days, right? And lost all the weight. But,
That's right. Yeah,
but it's a great example of what's possible that we wouldn't even know to consider, to think about. And so that's what I love about that.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about our work, is a lot of times our prospective clients don't realize that this opportunity is out there. Many times they think they're in good shape, and they may be in good shape. And the beauty is, if they're in great shape, there's no fee for our work. But most times we find them savings, and it works out great for everybody.
Yeah, and that's where I would like to encourage our clients to think about, if you want to be more profitable, if you're kind of stuck, not knowing what the next step is, this might be an opportunity. Scott's team will go through all your different expenses except for labor, right? Go through all the different categories. There's certain expenses that usually are more like low-hanging fruit that have more opportunity. Or maybe start on a couple of those and see what kind of benefit there is. But it's definitely something to be thinking about, that you may just not even realize that there's something there to be had. And that's what I love about these stories.
Yeah. Okay, I have some more to share with you if you're open.
Yeah, stories are great because it gives you gives our listeners a chance to think about how it might have impact them.
Yeah. So part of our process, Michelle, is when we get a bill from a client, we literally tear the bill apart and itemize everything that's on it and where it goes. We're working on with a client. They had engaged with us to look at their phone bills. We did a lot of different work, but one of the things that came out is we looked at this address. We had these charges. Of course, Google is your friend. So we go to Google Earth, we type in the address, we spin the camera around, and it's a blank field. We think we did something wrong. We think we have the wrong address. So we circle back to the client and we're like, hey, we found a bill at this address. What is that? What's that about? She's like, well, we had a house there. Oh, you had a house there. What happened to the house? Well, we had people there, but we expanded and we took it down, and it's now an empty lot and they're in the building. So this phone bill at this house that has since been torn down was a little over $800 a month between the phone and data and internet. They tore the house down almost 10 years ago.
Oh my goodness. And they never shut off the service?
Yeah, what happened? They canceled the electricity, they canceled the natural gas. No one really thought about the phone bill. And the bill comes in, and if we're being transparent, many times the bill comes in and it's the same this month as last month, and we approve it for payment and we send it on. And that's what they had done. And you know, we went in, we canceled the bill. We're saving them many $1,000s a year. And then we put in a process to make sure that doesn't happen in the future, because we want to make sure that they never get in that scenario again. So that was an interesting one. It happens. We find a lot of stuff that people are paying for on their bill that they're maybe not getting or not aware that they're paying for. Another one of my other really favorite stories, and this goes back to our client staying with the same vendor, just writing a smaller check. It was a Thursday. I was having lunch with the CFO. It was a healthcare group. They had about 28 different locations. And he says, hey, I got to go. I've got a meeting with a copier guy. I was like, okay, well, we do copiers. He's like, yeah, okay. So Friday, he gets a quote and he sends it to us. Monday morning, I called him back, and we saved them, our experts saved them 62%. Exact same machines, exact same vendor. All he had to do was write a smaller check. There's a fair amount of margin in a copier, and you may not be aware of how much margin there is. The beauty of it is our copier experts work for the copier companies, and they know the margin.
Yeah, I think that's a great example too, because as an average buyer, and maybe it's a one-time buy of copiers every so many years, you have no real idea of it. It's like going on a car lot, right? You got that sticker price, but how low are they willing to go? What is the, you think you got $500 off. Hey, I did really great. And then your neighbor says, oh, I got $2,000 off the same car. You just don't know, right? What is the real price? And then the fact that the sticker price isn't necessarily the real price. So I think those are great examples of, using an expert to help you maximize your business and business efficiency and obviously reduce your costs. So those are some great examples. Scott, talk to us a little bit about companies that are looking to exit. They're looking to their exit strategies probably to sell their business 1 to 5 years out. What is the benefit to them of looking at expenses today?
Michelle, this is one of my favorite topics to discuss ever. Any business owner that's looking at the next chapter and saying, what are the things that I need to do to prepare my business to sell, should always do cost reduction. Here's why. A business is going to sell for one of the components of it, and I'm simplifying a fairly complex process, but one of the components is the multiple of earnings. And a number I always use is 5. There's some that sell for 3 and some that sell for 10. But let's talk about 5. And if our experts can come in and put $100,000 to the bottom line, it'll cost them about $150,000 in fees for that. But 100,000 times the multiple of 5 will generate about $500,000 in additional value when the transaction closes. The further in advance of that transaction closing, the better. The longer we can bake that in, and so, if you're a business owner and you're looking at 2, 3, 5 years out selling, let's do cost reduction. Let's put some money on the bottom line. And when you exit and you start to go to the next chapter, your pocket's going to be a little more full.
Yeah, I think that's a really good thing for business owners to be thinking about. Like, don't wait till the last minute when you're going to sell. You can't increase your value at the last moment. But if you start thinking about it, planning for it, and really reduce your cost prior to that, then that exponential growth, exponential sales price is really a great way to, go to your next, whatever your next thing is, whether that's retirement or your next business or whatever. But I think that's fantastic. Plus, the new owners are coming in with a lean company. So also a good place for them to be starting so that they'll continue and be successful. So win-win there for everyone. While you mentioned it, just so our audience isn't confused, in your example of $100,000, it would cost them $150,000. Can you explain your pricing so people understand that a little better?
Yeah, I apologize for not making that more transparent. So our fee, Michelle, is 1/2. We do all of our work on a contingency, and our fee is 1/2 of the savings for a period of 36 months. And so that's where I ended. That's how I got to the $150 on the $100,000 to the bottom line.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing that. I didn't want people to hear that and be like, I don't understand the math. The savings go year after year after year. And
Right.
So that's why there's and it's based off of what you actually find. So if you don't find anything, there's no cost. So I think that is great too. All right. Well, for our listeners out there, I do want to put up my website here. So if you have questions, please ask the questions either on YouTube or LinkedIn or wherever you're watching this. Please ask questions, and Jason and Scott will keep an eye on that and help answer questions. Reach out to me directly, and I can put you in contact with Scott if you'd like to get a project started. So please do that. And as we're wrapping up here, Scott, is there any final words or final thoughts that we should be sharing with the audience?
Yeah, Michelle, there's always one analogy that I use, and it applies to the work we do. Most business owners, the vast majority of them are hiring an accountant to do their tax return. They're doing that because they don't want to pay any more tax than they have to. They don't do it themselves, so to speak. The very same thing can be said for cost reduction work. You can try and do it yourself, but if you want to pay the least amount possible, just like you do with your taxes and hire an accountant, you should hire a cost reduction firm.
I think that's great. I think just educating people that you're out there, Silverback's out there, you have this service to offer, and always rely on the professionals. I think that's great advice. Jason, thanks for being here today. Thanks for teaming with me. Do you have any final questions or final words to share with the audience?
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, real quickly to the audience listening in today, you can see the power and collaboration here. Scott's a part of our team. I work hand in hand with Michelle in partnership. We have a treasure trove of national specialists that help in many, many different areas. Just get with Michelle. If anything is on your mind with your small business, we're here to help collaborate and bring value to what you're doing. So thanks again, Michelle.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jason. Having financial planning and tax planning kind of hand in hand it's a really good thing where the communication is going on for the benefit of the client and for making sure that their clients' needs are being met and getting that extra added value. Scott, thanks so much for coming on today. Thanks for educating our audience on why they should be getting an expense reduction, some of these hidden things that they wouldn't even know they wouldn't even know were available, and sharing some of your tips and secrets on that. I really appreciate it. So thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michelle.
And thanks to my audience for checking this out. Please subscribe to Health and Taxes YouTube channel. Please share, please like, please comment. So I'll continue bringing you great content like this. But thank you all, and we'll see you again next Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, with the next broadcast. Thank you.